Hello friends. Welcome to my October bullet journal video. This one's going to be a little bit different in that I thought rather than just talking about the spread, I would talk about the inspiration for the theme quite a bit. Because this is a fun one. I also spend a lot of time, you can see, starting about now, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to do. I had the vibes, I had the assets, but I did not have the layout. And so I experimented for a long time. So while that's happening, I'm going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. This theme is themed after the roleplay game that I will be running later this month. This is new for me. I have never run a game before. It's a one-shot, a live-action one-shot, and it's a All Hallows Eve game. You'll see I have a whole page for it a little bit later in the setup. I've been attending these Halloween games off and on for 5 years at this point. I went to one my senior year of high school. They just needed, more bodies, more people to fill the room. And then I wasn't invited the next year just because, whatever. And then the next year I got to participate and I was supposed to be a supporting character. I was supposed to, do some stuff, cause a little bit of mayhem, but I wasn't supposed to be the main villain. And then this and that and some other things happened, and I ended up being the main antagonist. And no one saw me coming, least of all me, and it killed. It was great. It was so fun. And it was a thing to do with friends. The reason I was invited is the people that I roleplay with are the same people I do theater with, and we had just done a show. That was my first big experience with this community. Since the beginning of this year, I have fallen, and I have fallen hard for RPGs. This month, I am actively participating in 3, and then running this one. Again, this is a one-shot, but yeah. The premise of my story is there's this railroad tycoon, and he's hosting a party. That's about it. It's 1865. The Civil War has recently ended. And everyone who's going to be at this party will get along. Why wouldn't they? I'm really happy with how the spread came out. I don't know if I would say the vibe of this is the vibe of the game, but it's close. It's close. But I love the vibes of this. In general, these games are very straight fantasy, and I love me some straight fantasy. But the story that came to me, I was trying to figure out where to put it, what time, what era, what vibes. And the story was only partially formed at that point, and then something happened, and suddenly, oh, it's a Western. And of course it's a Western. But it's this alternate fantasy Victorian era. Obviously, Westerns were Victorian era, that's how time works. But this Gothic Victorian West Coast Western. It's not a murder mystery. it's just a party. Again, what could go wrong? It's incredible that I have this opportunity. It's only been since the beginning of this year that I've been really active in this RPG space. And all of the people that I play with are so welcoming and encouraging, and in a strange way, it's they make fun of me. And you know how you can be mean to people if you dislike them? Sure. But the people you're meanest to in your life, or at least in my circle, the people you're meanest to are the people you love the most, that you're most comfortable with, that know they can make fun of you and it's okay. It's a show of affection. And I joined this community and they just included me right away. And we throw insults, and it makes it sound very unhealthy, but it's not. But I joined this space more than 2 years ago, but life and things, I wasn't an active participant until literally like December 31st is when everything went down. December 30th, actually. December 30th, my character in this long-running campaign, my character who had been watching from a distance, spying from the shadows, she'd had a couple things, but she was barely there. December 30th, the story came and hit me over the head. And since then, it has been a non-stop ride. And this character has been just insane. And she keeps surprising me, and it's incredible. And I get to be her in this community, and there's no judgment. I've been in a theater space for a long time, and I get it. And I'm in a theater space with young people, high schoolers. And there's this thing about, like, you should be a good actor, but you can't be too good of an actor because people might think you care. Doing theater or doing RPG or doing anything with a group of adults who really genuinely love it, it's this incredibly freeing experience. No one's gonna judge you for caring. You just do, and you should care. Turns out, role-playing games are kind of my perfect genre. I'm a bit of a writer, a bit of an actor. And this is a happy medium where I get to do both of those things at the same time. And it brings out the best of me as an actress and really pushes me as a writer. But yeah, so I've been growing in that one game, and then a new game started. And so I'm in that, and I'm an important story character right here off the bat, and I'm making new characters that's not just patterned off of me the same way my original character was. And then there's another game that I'm about to be in that hasn't quite started yet, and making her and realizing that I can really push myself as an actor and a creator. And I'm like, what if this character just isn't a likable person? What do I do with that? And then a while ago, I had this idea for, what could be a fun Halloween game sometime in the future. Because I've been to a few of these, I've seen how it goes. But what could be a fun premise? Maybe I'll just write it. I'll start working on it a little bit as, a thought exercise. It'd be good. And maybe in 3-4 years, I could maybe put it on. And then I was really happy with it, actually. But I had some structural questions. And so I asked for some advice. And it was this thing about, You want to do it? You can. And now they're doing this whole, haha, we've escaped, we've passed it on to you, and we'll never take it back. We'll see what happens. When I joined this, it started with me talking to the storyteller, not about his story, about mine, about the novel that I'm writing. And he just kept asking questions. And I was so confused why he was asking questions, but if you've met a writer, they usually are very invested in their story, and if anyone shows any interest, they will talk. I have certainly taken advantage of this, because the storyteller likes to tell about his story, and I like to hear about it, and if I ask questions, he will answer them. It's a nice place to be. Quick detour from my sentimental ramblings. This was a mistake. I was like, this could be cool, and I finished it and went, this is bad. And then I tried to fix it, and then I fixed it badly. Bullet journaling is a whole thing. Sometimes you experiment and it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. I do manage to mostly fix this, but some things are hard to fix. This and then you're going to continue to watch me struggle to make it better, and it gets a lot worse before it gets better again. Anyway, when I first joined, I was telling the storyteller about my book, and he kept asking me questions, and then he said, I'd like to steal that character. And I might like to steal you too. And I was so shocked. And as we made this happen, he told me, don't go into this, don't think of this just as a player. I want you to participate as a writer. And I took that to heart. And I don't just walk in and I'm like, all right, I'm here to improv. I do that quite a bit. But I think about this whole thing as a writer first and foremost. Because that's kind of what improv is. You're writing as you go. But then it's also rough draft. But I participate in that game gently as a storyteller, a gentle helper writer. And so the idea of like someday I'd like to run a game, but I'm very new to this. I've been doing this for less than a year. And now suddenly everything's come together and I'm running a game. In less than a month, I'm running a game. I'm telling a story. The games we play are not traditional D&D. They were that maybe 30 years ago, but things have changed. And so the people in charge, we do call them the DM, GM from time to time, but usually we call them the storyteller. And when I was setting all this up and sending out information to people for my game, and also, it took me a while to call it that. It was just like, it's the Halloween game, and I just all happened to be there. I was just calling myself a storyteller. Calling myself the storyteller for the evening just felt like too much. But I am. That evening, I will be the storyteller. And I hope someday I will be the storyteller for a whole campaign. I'm already filling up a document with ideas. Not soon. Not yet. There's plenty of stuff going on, but someday. Because I realize it's something I love. It's community, and it's art, and I'm a strong believer in every good gift that we have is from God. And that includes our creativity. It is a reflection of Him. And to be able to use the good gifts He's given us in a community with other believers who are also using their creativity and good gifts to support each other and have fun and glorify God in the process. He tells stories, and we are like Him, so we tell stories. And we can make other beautiful things, like this notebook. I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially that cover page. And the idea that I can bring this hobby of mine together with this other hobby of mine. It's a good time to be alive, friends. And it's a good time to be creative and to use your gifts. And there's the invite to the party. The party where nothing will go wrong. Happy October, friends.